Hey y'all, it's your girl Mac. Welcome to Mac Reviews. I am doing a review of Love After Lockup Season 3, Episode 42, I believe. I do not know the name of the episode. So let's get into it. I'm going to talk about Anissa and Jeff first. So Jeff tells Kyle that his ex-girlfriend, he said his first love or first girlfriend, who I think is Christine, revealed to him that she believes they have an 18-year-old son together. He says apparently years ago, the baby was born, she contacted him, he was in prison, and the day when after the baby was born that she called him or he called her, and she just told him the baby's not yours. And so he was just like, okay. Now he said that she contacted him while he was in the halfway house and he got a blood test done and he is the father. So yeah. So he tells Kyle this. I don't know if he told the producers, and the producers were like, why don't you tell Kyle? I don't know why he told Kyle, but Kyle was just like, you got to tell her, you got to be honest with her. And he was like, I know, but I want to wait till the right time. Can you please not tell her? So, Kyle is like, listen, if he tells the producers, if he doesn't tell her, I will. So people are, comparing Anissa and Jeff to Tony and Angela. And I do think that the producers do go out and find people and then shape the narrative to make them seem like past couples, but I don't get Angela and Tony from Anissa and Jeff. The only thing is that they're from the South. She lives in a trailer, but the reason why I don't get that from them is because in the little interaction that we've seen between her and Jeff, Anissa and Jeff doesn't really have to say much to get Anissa. He doesn't he doesn't really do much. Like, she just seems to like the idea of being with a younger man. But like with Angela and Tony was doing a lot of manipulating. He would lie so much to her. He talked a lot. And Angela just took whatever he told her. She would get upset whenever he would cheat, but like for the most part, she kept taking him back. With Jeff and Anissa, it seems like Jeff don't gotta say nothing. Like, it seems like he really doesn't have to try that hard. I'm sure he's manipulated her over the years for her to just be in this situation with him, but I just don't get much manipulation from him. It just seems like she's just glad for his presence, It was interesting that Jeff was like, he was just talking about what he does. He exercises, which it's kind of like he has the same routine as he had in prison, because he's like exercising. He said he plays games on his phone and then he goes back out to exercise. He's doing more than, what's his name? Josh. So, that's good. But he says he wants to get his teeth fixed, and which is good. I'm glad he said that. He said he wants to get a job to get his teeth fixed because his teeth are jacked up. That man got 4 teeth in his mouth. My God, today. But he wants to get his teeth fixed, and then he said he wants to get a motorcycle, and I'm not gonna make fun of how this man pronounces it, and then he wants to get some Gucci pants, because he said all his life he's always worn designer clothes, and he says he got to keep it sexy. And yeah, what? Sorry, y'all. It was like an insect flying. Okay. Anyway, so that was their scene. Not much, but I think they're gonna heat up, because we do see in not the trailer for next week, but the season trailer. We see that at some point he tries to fight Kyle. So, and I think Kyle probably ends up telling Anissa. So then next we see Brittany and Ray. Brittany and Ray, morning after there, and of course Brittany put her wig on and her eyelashes and did a full face, but wants us to believe that she just woke up like this. But I understand, girl, if I was on TV, I would do the same thing. But it's just those eyelashes, I was like, girl. So anyways, So Brittany and Ray have a conversation. He's like, when am I going to meet your family? And she tells him, like, I told my family about you, but they don't know that you are out. And they don't know that you're staying with me. I told them that you were going to stay with your parents. And it looks like Ray is not pleased with that. He doesn't like that. And he's like, so are you hiding me? And she's like, no, I'm not hiding you, whatever. She doesn't tell him that her mom said that she doesn't want to meet him. But Ray is feeling some type of way. And I'm kind of like, I guess I can understand him feeling like, hey, you met my family, so I should meet yours. But if this is really one day after, like, I don't understand. What are you expecting? It's one day after. If it really is, this could be a week after. I'm not sure. The show, we're always not completely clear on the timelines with this show. But even if it is a week after, like, you understand that you're a felon. You're coming out of prison. Like, this is a difficult situation for her. But at the same time, she should just be honest with her family. Like, so and be honest with him. So his Grandma Sue comes over and Grandma Sue has she brings fried chicken, she brings food, she brings him clothes. I just want to say that I want to be like Grandma Sue when I grow up. When I'm old, I want to look slim like her. I want to have healthy hair. You see her long locks, healthy edges intact, skin on point, aging like fine wine. Listen, just be gorgeous. I'm like, ma'am, I want to. When I'm however old she is, because I can't even tell. She got gray hair, so obviously she's probably over 60 or over 70. But she looks so good. Like, looking at her and then looking at Stan. Anyways, she looks so good. I want to look like her when I get older. But so she comes over, and I will give it to her, she's real. She comes over and she's like, oh, okay, it looks like you have a good woman. Okay, but I'm gonna keep my eye out. She keeping her good eye on them, and she lets them know that. And then she asks, is she a good cook? And then he was like, yeah, she's a good cook. She can cook. And he's like, okay. So we see a little bit more of Brittany's house. Her house is nice. I think we've all been in houses like that. Like, it's a run-of-the-mill general, like, middle-class home. I mean, probably 3-bedroom. It's a nice little house for a single one. I mean, that. But so they eat. Brittany's uncomfortable because she feels like, why do we keep seeing your grandma? I don't know. That's the only thing that I'm a little like about her. Like, I understand that you want your private time with him, but like, you understand this man hasn't seen his family for years. And he said it to her. He said, I'm not going to tell my family not to come over. I haven't seen them for 3-4 years. I want to see them. Like, and he's very like chill with it. Like, he doesn't raise his voice. He's like, I haven't seen my family for 3-4 years. Like, I'm not going to tell them not to come see me. I want to see them. And he's like, I'm going to see you every day. Like, he's making sense. So I don't understand why she does it. I don't know if she's going to be controlling. I don't know if, I don't know. But anyways, so then she's telling her about her mom, and she's like, your mom's baby, aren't you? And she's like, yeah, I'm the youngest. And she's like, okay, yeah. And she was like, your mom sounds like a good woman. Like, she was being nice. And then he was like, what do you think of her mom? And then Ray was like, I haven't met her. And then Grandma Sue was shocked. You could see she genuinely was like, what? You haven't met her? Like, how come you haven't met her? And then Brittany, he's like, oh, she probably ashamed of me. And I'm like, sir. But, and she's like, are you hiding him? No, she said, you're ashamed of him. And then he was like, are you hiding me? She's hiding me. And then Brittany's telling them, like, I don't want, I haven't introduced to my family yet. I want to do it the right time. She's not being fully honest. She does tell them that her family doesn't know that he's there, and they know of him, but they don't know that he's here. And Grandma Sue doesn't like this, and she's like, listen, Brittany, you need to be honest, and she says to him, if you're ever uncomfortable, call me. And my thing, okay, I understand both sides, because on the one hand, okay, Brittany needs to be honest with everybody, but she shouldn't have lied to her parents. She should be honest with him, which she technically is letting him know. But at the same time, I'm looking at Ray and his grandma like, I'm not saying he doesn't get to have standards, and he's like, oh, I don't like us having secrets, you need to let me meet your family. But it's like, you're a felon. Like I feel like, dude, you're not like a regular dude who has a job and like what she said, when she said they're looking at it like he doesn't bring anything to the table. And it's like, yeah, that's harsh, but it's true. And so, so it's like, for him, I'm like, he should be a little more humble, because, dude, like, you're coming out of prison. You don't have no job. You don't have no money. You don't have no place. What are you going to talk to her family about? Are you planning on marrying her? Like, I don't, Ray, and I think Ray's grandma just was looking for a reason, because she doesn't want him in a relationship right now, because he came out of prison and she's suspicious of Brittany. So I just think that she, if she finds a reason, she's going to jump on it. But I think that at the same time, like, for Brittany, you chose to be with this dude. You knew he was in prison. You knew what the situation was going to be. So you have to put your big girl panties on and take responsibility and to, live with this, be honest with everybody, and deal with this. She could not accept it, because at the same time, it's like, he is in prison. So it's like, he has to kind of be patient with her because of who he is. You can't just be coming out of prison with nothing to bring to the table other than, being a handsome guy and maybe giving some good sex, and thinking that means she should introduce you to her family. She didn't even want to meet your family. The only reason she met his family is because his family, wanted to be there to see him. Otherwise, she wouldn't have even met them yet. So, anyways, let's move on to the next couple. Gonna talk about Courtney and Josh, who I'm not fully understanding. I thought Courtney and Josh were going to be so interesting, but they're turning out to be a little more slow, not as interesting, and I'm not fully getting what's going on with them. So we see this scene. They're just at the house, whatever. He's eating something. I don't know what it is. He's calling it soup. It looks like oatmeal, maybe rice. I can't tell what it is. Also, I don't know if it's the accent there. I noticed Josh talks with like a slur. Not a slur, but like he talks, like his voice is very shaky. I don't know. I was like, maybe that's the accent. Where are they? Ohio, Minnesota? I don't know. But somewhere in the Midwest. So she wants to have sex and he doesn't. And I think, I don't know if he's just not attracted. He says he can't get it up. And I'm like, he said I'm getting to that age. I'm about to turn 30 next month. And I'm like, I'm not getting what's going on. I don't know why he doesn't want to hook up with her. I don't know if he's realizing that he's not that attracted to her. I don't know. I can't fully figure out what's going on with them. And she lets him know, hey, when we were talking, when you were in prison, you would say all these things about being affectionate, and now that we're here, you're not doing it. And she starts crying, and I'm like, oh God, I hated to see her crying. I thought it was just so sad, because he wasn't ignoring her feelings. He wasn't being dismissive, but he just wasn't even, he kind of was just quiet and just looking at her. And it's like he didn't know what to say. And it was kind of like, it was like weird because the dogs, they allow their dogs on their bed. I don't have any dogs, but when I do, because I want to have dogs, they're not coming on the bed. They'll have their own little dog bed. Like, them dog beds are not expensive. I saw some at Aldi's for like $10 and $20. Like, they're not, you just throw them in the wash. It's not expensive. But anyways, my aunt had a dog and she never let her dog on her bed. She had her own little dog bed in the side on it. It was funny because she's saying to him, I want affection. I thought you said all these things and now you're not doing it as far as affection goes. And while she's telling him that, he's literally cuddling and petting one of their dogs. And I'm like, dude is sitting here, he's cuddling and petting the dog, and he could be doing that with her. Like, when she said that, he should have gotten up and put his arms around her. Like, I was like, he's literally touching the dog and not touching her while she's telling him, show me affection. I was like, wow. And I think that shows, like, I guess he's not attracted to her, but it's weird because when we first saw him, he kissed her, he hugged her, he seemed to want her. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe he is realizing that he's not that attracted to her. I don't know. Part of me was like, is he gay? And I know that's like, but he has been in prison since he was 17 years old. And she said that he's on the phone with like his prison friends and like talking with them. And I mean, maybe he got a dude in there that was his boyfriend that he's in love with, that, you know, I don't know. I mean, it's completely possible because there's no reason for him not to be sleeping with her. There's no reason. So, I mean, there's a reason, but I'm saying aside from he doesn't want her. So I don't fully understand what's going on. I don't know if it's that they just don't have anything in common and they don't have a real connection. If it was just the thrill of the situation and it being forbidden and all that, and now they just realize they don't have anything in common. They don't have a rapport. They don't really have a connection. It was like, I don't know. So, because the thing is, like, you have to spend time with somebody too. Like, you have to actually spend time getting to know them, doing things together, spending time together, you know, sharing life. And they haven't done that. So it's like, I don't know. I feel for Courtney. I really think she needs to, I don't know, but she's got to find her healing so that she can be able to have a real connection with a man. I noticed last time when she went wedding dress shopping, she said, I've never worn a dress. She said something like that. And I was like, you've been married twice. I guess she was just going down to the courthouse. So yeah. Yeah, so I don't know what's up with Courtney and Josh. So let me move on. I'm trying to see if I had anything else to say about them in my notes. So not really. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. I love the built-in editing tools in the app. I'm able to record my podcast, edit, and add music without any issues. It makes my workflow smooth and seamless. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, so you don't need to have 500 subscribers or 1,000. You can start making money from the start. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. So, okay, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this episode. As usual, Stan, Lisa, Deontay, Nicole, and Doug and Rachel have been giving us the most. So Stan and Lisa, he said they haven't talked for like 10 days, like almost a while. And I didn't think we would see Stan and Lisa again until I watched the trailer for Life After Lockup. I cannot believe that they're on that. Like, but they are. So they're going to be on Life After Lockup. So she finally calls him. She's continuing to stay at a hotel. Somehow she straightened this terrible hair. I don't know how she did it. Maybe she combed it out. Still looks terrible. But she pretty much says she's running out of money and she doesn't have anywhere to go. As far as being able to afford the hotel, I feel like production has been paying for that. But even so, she's probably paying for all her meals, she doesn't have a vehicle, so probably paying for Ubers, or Lyfts, and, she got her nails done, and I'm confused because her nails look good. And so I'm like, you were able to find a good nail tech, but you couldn't find somebody, like, to do your hair. Like, she said she saved up her stimulus money. So I'm like, she had a couple $1,000s. So I'm like, You could have taken $100 or $200 out of that money and bought a decent human hair wig. Or you could have paid a stylist to install actual good weave. Anyways, so she calls him, and so pretty much she's calling him just because she's running out of money and she doesn't have a place to stay. She needs somewhere to stay and she needs provision. That's it. She don't like him. Like I watched this episode with a friend and they've never watched this show. And I didn't tell him anything. And when he saw them, he was like, she don't like him. Like, she just wants to deal with him because she doesn't have anywhere to go. Like, it's so obvious. You don't have to watch the show to tell what's going on here. So she calls him, he comes over, and she's telling him, listen, you know, I don't want things to end like this between us. But the thing is, you go from 0 to 60, like you go from 0 to 100 off of nothing, you know, and he admitted to that. And he was like, I need to work on that. But like, the reason he goes from 0 to 100 is because he doesn't care about you. Like, like he don't care about her. He just cares about what she can give to him. He wanted a sugar baby, sugar daddy situation. But again, I don't know if he's willing to hold up his end of the bargain. We haven't seen him really spend any money on her other than buying those terrible wigs. So I don't really know if he's willing to, you know, actually provide for this chick, or if he just wants her to be in his house and be this like sex slave and that's it. We don't see him doing what Deontay is doing. We don't see him buying her clothes, giving her money, really doing, I mean, Deontay's more of a sugar daddy than him. And Deontay doesn't have the worth. He has less money. But anyways, so you know, she goes back to his house and, you know, she's playing the game with him, and you know, he cooks the food looked nasty. It looked nasty. I was like, And then they go in the basement, and he didn't even ask her to go in the basement. He was like, oh, so do you want to take a walk or something? He wasn't even being as like creepily aggressive as he usually is. But she was like, nah, let's go in the basement. And I was like, oh. So she showed that straight jacket. So oh God. Anyways, they did their business. She did what she felt like she needed to do. So we'll see what happens with them. It looks like she actually does get him to buy her the car. So maybe it looks like if you put out, Stan will deliver. I don't know. But so next I'm going to talk about Deontay and Nicole, who also delivered this episode. So they bring us right back to the scene where Nicole is going in the car with who we thought it was, which is Zach. Zach does talk to the camera. Zach says, listen, I know she was talking to dudes. I know she was getting money. She said he was talking to her the whole time while she was in prison. So that's why I said when she was like, oh, the only reason we broke up is because I went to prison. They never broke up. He said they were talking the whole time when she was in prison, and that he knew that she was talking to dudes, you know, to get money or whatever, but he didn't know that there was any real, like, the extent of the emotional connection. Because even when they put the camera on him when he was in the car, like, he was shocked. Like, you would see his whole, like, he knew, obviously he knew she was on the show. She told him to come over. You know, he knew what it was. He signed the waiver to be on camera. I don't know if he knew that Deontay was going to go off. I don't know if he understood that he said he didn't realize. Like, these people, anyways. So Deontay went all the way off, and I was here for it. He was like, cursed her all the way out. He should have called, I mean, he called her a B. He should have called her all the words, because that's all the things. Listen, he really didn't go in like he could have, but he was like, give me my phone back. She wouldn't give the phone. He was like, oh, okay, keep the phone. I'm going to deactivate it, which I hope he followed through on that. I hope he deactivated the phone. And he goes off, and then he drives off, and she still leaves with him. He threw all the like stuff out the car that he had for her, and she just put it in the trash. So clearly nothing that he threw out had real monetary value, because if he threw money on the floor or something like that has monetary value that she could use or resell, there's no way she would have put it in the trash. But so she drives off with Zach, and Deontay drives off, and he's pissed off. He's screaming and I don't know if he cried, but anyways, so the next morning she comes back. She did sleep with Zach. She stayed over his house, whatever. Her mom is pissed off. Her mom reads her for filth, which was great. I was glad because I couldn't tell if her mom was an enabler or not, but she's not. Her mom read her for filth, told her about herself, and said, you don't do people like this. You are wrong. If you don't want to be with Deontay, if you don't like him, break up with him. And she said, you don't treat people like this. This is not right. He's a human. He has feelings. But that girl is cold. I don't know what happened to her in life that she became so callous, but you could tell that she doesn't look at Deontay as a human, as a person with feelings. Like, she looks at him as like the way that some men objectify women, she's kind of objectifying him in the sense that she's looking at him as just ATM. And like, she looks at it like she doesn't care. Like, she doesn't feel like she doesn't care like if she hurt him. She doesn't care if he you know, and Deontay's a grown man, and I think he's shallow, but I'm just saying, like, she clearly doesn't look at certain people and as humans and having feelings, and she doesn't care if, like, how her actions affect somebody. And I think that, I don't know how she got like that. I don't know what happened to her in life. Maybe that's just how she is. Maybe nothing happened, or maybe she did like that. You know, she talked about the bad boy guy that she got with in high school. Maybe he tried her like that. You know, a lot of times hurt people. Sometimes when they love somebody or they put their all into somebody and they hurt them or they play them, they end up and go treating other people like that because they say, I'm never going to be in that position again. You know, so her mom reads her for filth, her stepmom reads her for filth, and I was here for it, but I don't think it went through her head. She doesn't get it, and they can tell. And so she goes back and she's on the phone with Tia. You know, like, the girl is a real, first of all, she's a hoe. Like, she's a hoe, and she's a user. And they even say you're using him, you're taking advantage of him. Like, she is a user, and I do not like her. Every season they got a chick like this, and I'm not surprised. She's a protege of Lacey. You know, these chicks are man eaters. They use men up and they spit them out. And listen, if you're gonna get money and a dude's gonna give you money and give you things, especially without having to put out, I'm not mad at you in the sense that dude nobody's forcing him to do that. But clearly, Deontay put out some texts between them on IG, and somebody posted it on YouTube, and I read some of them, and she was lying to him. She has been like making him believe that she liked him and she felt for him. So she has done some manipulating, and so she has lied to him and taken advantage of him and made him believe that she really liked him. And he said he did an interview, which I think I'm going to do a video on that interview because it was interesting and it was kind of enlightening about him. I might do a video. I think I'm going to do a little short podcast and video on that. So I think he really did believe that she liked him and cared about him, but so I feel like she's a liar and a deceit, and she's taking advantage of him. He's still a grown man. He still has allowed this to happen to himself. He's not a victim completely, really. He allowed this to happen to himself. But yeah, I cannot stand this girl. I don't like her at all. I hope that he tells her about herself. La Mom did, but I hope he reads her and really tells her about herself. But they're on Life After Lockup too, and I'm just like, ugh. But anyways, and the heifer has the nerve to say it's about time he stood up for himself instead of letting me walk all over him. I just wanted to pop her in the mouth. She is disgusting. She is real gross. And I just want to say this, like, for anybody, like, y'all gotta know, and just really Tia and that guy have to know, like, yeah, they're just smashing, having fun or whatever, but people like her, like, she obviously has been able to play Deontay because he's simple and he's, you know, not as confident, and he's not up on game. You know, he's really not up on game. He doesn't seem to understand how women will take advantage and use women. Men do it too, but he doesn't see how he's easy prey for these types of women, and that's why this keeps happening to him. He doesn't understand that there are people out here who will lie to you and deceive you and take it. Like, I don't know how he's 33 years old and he didn't find that out in life yet, but you know, he doesn't seem to understand that, and he doesn't know how to recognize the signs of that. But And I'm not saying that it can't happen to a lot of people. There are levels to like scamming and being a grifter and being a scam artist. Like there are people who are really good at it and they're able to fool otherwise smart people. So, but she's low level because, you know, Deontay's slow. Like she couldn't get over on a man who's more confident, who's smarter. But like you got people who are way above her who can get over on people who never thought they'd get scammed because these people are really good. So of course you have levels to people who are deceptors, grifters, and scam artists and swindlers, you know. But I just think that people like her, like if they can treat somebody the way that she treated Deontay, she can treat anybody like that. And I think that Tia and Zach and whoever deals with her has to know that she will do you the same. She may not swindle you the way she has used him, because she doesn't seem to be asking Zach or Tia for money and stuff. Because I'm like, when he was like, tell this mother to pay for your boob job, and I'm like, why is she not asking Zach for anything? Why is Zach not giving her money? Why is Tia not? Or maybe they were. Because I'm like, why didn't she get stuff from them? But whatever, I guess she has different people to satisfy her different needs or whatever. But what I'm saying is, like, she will treat anybody like that. When she's tired of you or you're not of use to her anymore, if she wants to move on to somebody she sees as better or she gets bored, she'll try you too. She may not take from you, but she'll try you because she don't got no character. You know, she's a low down dirty person. So she's selfish. She's only looking out for herself. So she can do them like that way too, or really anybody. So next, let me talk about last and definitely not least. Doug and Rachel have continued to be extremely interesting. As soon as I saw them from the first episode, I knew they were going to be a very interesting couple. So they finish out this scene that we saw last time at Doug's family's house in Kalamazoo, and it, you know, poor Doug, little Dougie is crying, and he goes off and he goes into Rachel's car, and the grandfather, who was sitting there the whole time while Doug is going at it with his sister Crystal, the one with the like magenta purple hair, while he's going at it with her, the dad is just sitting there. Like, he's not saying anything, he's not trying to stop them, he's not telling them to pipe down, he's just sitting there. And I'm like, I know your kids are grown, but get them together. Like, it's like he's used to the dysfunction. I don't know, but he's continuing to curse his sister out. And the sister, she's like, you know what? She starts reading Doug for filth. She starts reading him. And the funny thing is, she is still not as nasty as he is. It's dysfunctional, but she's not cursing him out. She's not calling him a mother effer. She's not being as nasty and disrespectful as he is to her. But she's like, you know what? You're going to be back in prison. Give it 60 days. I mean, you know. But she says to Rachel, she says, he's already lying to you. And she's like, what do you mean? She's like, how is he lying to me? And then she's like, you know, he's gonna cheat on you. He's going to drag you down. He's going to try to ruin your life. He's a player. He ain't not like, I mean, it was sad. But like, she's telling Rachel what kind of person Doug is. She knows her brother. And ain't nobody standing there saying nothing. The other sister, Ashley, didn't say nothing. The dad ain't saying nothing. Crystal said all that and nobody's saying anything. I mean, nobody wants to get involved in their fight. But Rachel is like, Rachel looked like she wanted to melt into the ground. She looked so uncomfortable. She's biting her nails. She looked anxious. And then poor Dougie, again, he runs in the car and he's crying. And then, you know, the grandfather's trying to call after him and he's ignoring it. And then Doug is like, Dougie, come back, the big Doug. And then he's like, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to Rachel. And Big Doug's, not only his words, but his, you know, he's 6', he's a tall guy. His vibe is so aggressive. Like, his whole body language was so aggressive. And so his presence even next to Dougie, it's like Dougie wanted to get away from him. Because his whole vibe was so aggressive and so angry. And it was scary. I was like, my God. And like, so they leave. And I just want to side note say, when his sister was saying, you're going to be back in jail, whatever. And she told her, she when she gets on her man has a motorcycle and they're leaving, and I must say, like, her man got on the motorcycle and she got behind them. That was a great exit. I'm sorry, that was beside the point, but I thought that was such an impressive exit because he just got on that motorcycle and they took off, and she was talking crap the whole time, and I just thought it was a great exit. But anyways, I mean, this whole thing was like a hot ghetto mess. I mean, it was, oh Lord, it was so ghetto and hood and just toxic. Yeah, so they leave and they're in the car, and poor Dougie, he's crying and he's like, man, I can't believe what kind of positive role model you are. You know, he's just the poor boy. Oh my God, it was so sad to see him crying. And Rachel's like, man, this ain't gonna work, man. You can't, you know, Rachel is like, dude, you can't do this. And then she's saying, you would never talk to me like that. And I'm like, how you know, Rachel? How do you know he wouldn't talk to you like that? If this man could talk to his sister like this in front of his son and in front of his father and his mother is not out there, but his mother is in the house. He knows his mother's in the house. What makes you think that if he doesn't respect his mother, his sister, and his father enough, and these children, there were babies there, enough to control his anger and to speak with some respect, why do you think he wouldn't talk to you like that? Girl, it's just a matter of time before he's calling you a B and calling you out your name and disrespecting you in your own house where you pay all the bills and he doesn't pay nothing. Just give us some time. Like, what makes you think he wouldn't talk to you like that? So we've heard him talk crazy to you. So they, you know, she's trying to comfort little Dougie. And when they get back to the house, they sit down and she's like, listen, we gonna have to get therapy. You cannot talk to this boy like that. He don't have a mom. You've been in jail all these years. You can't be aggressive like this. And he's like, listen, he's trying to tell her about his life and how, you know, he went to a therapist when he was young and the therapist couldn't deal with him and they gave him Ritalin, and you know, he feels like, a child, that boy's gonna respect me. I know I wasn't in his life. That's my fault. That's on me. But he has to respect me regardless. And I'm like, what you're saying doesn't make sense. Big Doug is talking like he's a good parent. If you were in your child's life and you've been in your child's life and you've taken care of them and you've been responsible and your child is talking to you crazy, then yeah, you can be like, you need to respect me. What are you talking about? Like, you have people like that where they raise their kids and they do everything right and their kids disrespect them. In that case, yes, you need to lay down the law because you've been there, but you haven't been there. Your son's mother has not been in his life. He's clearly been in an abusive situation with your other sister. So you don't have no rights to come at him like that. You know, like, you have done nothing for him. He has no reason to respect you. You have to show him that you deserve respect. You have to be there. You know, get up in the morning, spend time with him, go and get a job, be responsible, show him that you're a father. You can't just come in and do that. And so she's saying to him, she's not even saying that to him, but what she's saying is, you know, you have to communicate differently. And she said straight up to him, listen, if you want this life, if you want to be here with me, if you want to be in this house, if you want to have me, you're going to have to communicate differently. And then he said, oh, who you talking to? And I was like, she's talking to a guest in her house. What you talking about? She's talking to a man that she is allowing to lay up in her house without paying no bills and not cleaning up, not cooking, not doing nothing. What you talking about? Boy, I was like, Rachel had a lot of control. She was just cutting her eyes at him. And I was like, girl, girl, that was pissing me off. And I was like, sir, what you talking about? You don't pay no bills. And so he was like, oh, you're not going to put no ultimatums on me. You're not going to put no ultimatums. And then she was like, oh, if we're going to have a baby, you need to get yourself together. And he was like, you ain't going to put no ultimatum on me about a baby. And I was like, hold up, time out. Stop the bus. That's what I'm going to be saying for the rest of the season. Stop the bus. Stop the bus. Girl, you just watch this man and you can see that he's not a good father. You can see how toxic he is. And you still want to father a child? You want to have a baby with him? Girl, what? Like, anyways, so after that, You want to have a baby with him. So she was like, when he said, who you talking to? And like I said, Rachel was looking at him like, boy, like she was trying to control herself from going off. But she was like, change how you communicate, or you're going to have to get that out this house. And I was like, okay, Rachel, that Marine coming out now. I was like, yes. I was like, please. I was so glad that she said that. I love this whole conversation because Rachel was assertive. She was firm. She didn't have to raise her voice. But she let him know, and I like that. And you could see that he thought he was going to be able, because he did all that chihuahua barking on the phone when they were, when he was in prison. But he sees now that Rachel don't play that. And that this is not guaranteed. That you're not going to be able to control her with, your penis. You're not going to be able to control her with your dick. No, Rachel knows what it is, and she ain't gonna take that from you. So I really like that she let him know what's up, and you can see on his face that he knows what's up now. And she was like, "This conversation is over." So I'm glad that Rachel let him know, and we gonna see. I was a little concerned that she was gonna let this dude bulldoze her when she went up there, to their family. But I'm glad that she laid it down with him. So, there's rumors that they're not together, but I don't like spoilers, so I'm not gonna get into that. But anyways, this review went a little longer than usual, but this was a decent episode. We'll see what happens next week. I'm going to do my reactions to the Life After Lockup trailer and the 90-day trailer. I'm going to upload those. I'm going to do also, like I said, I'm going to do a little short commentary on the interview that Deontay did with on YouTube. He did an interview with a YouTuber, and it was interesting. So, okay, thanks for listening, guys. See you next week. Bye.